What if I told you that the future of PC gaming isn't just about the latest graphics cards or the next-gen consoles, but a quiet revolution happening right under our noses? For years, a small but passionate community has been working behind the scenes to make something extraordinary possible, turning Linux, once seen as a system for developers and tech enthusiasts, into a legitimate gaming powerhouse, and the unsung hero leading this charge. A piece of open source software called Proton. To understand how we got here, let's rewind the clock. There was a time when gaming on Linux was a frustrating experience. If you were a Linux user in the 2000s or early 2010s, you probably remember the days of endless tinkering, configuring Wine, tweaking libraries, editing launch parameters just to get a game barely running. Compatibility was hit or miss. Most publishers didn't even consider Linux a viable platform, and the general belief was that gaming and Linux simply didn't mix. It was a niche, a hobby for those who loved a challenge more than convenience. Then something unexpected happened. Valve, yes, the company behind Steam, began to take Linux seriously. First came SteamOS, an experiment that hinted at a bigger vision. But the real game changer arrived in 2018. Proton. Valve announced a new compatibility layer that could make thousands of Windows games run natively on Linux through Steam. No setup required, and suddenly the impossible started to look effortless. But Proton didn't just appear overnight. Behind it stood an army of unsung heroes, open source developers, QA testers, and community contributors who spent years perfecting compatibility layers and translating Windows APIs into Linux equipment. Their work built on decades of Wine development but pushed it further with better DirectX translation through Vulkan. And tools like DXVK and VKD3D that enabled stunning performance improvements. These were people who didn't seek fame, they just wanted to make gaming on Linux work and work beautifully. And slowly, game by game, patch by patch, Proton transformed the landscape. Popular titles like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, and Grand Theft Auto 5 became fully playable on Linux with performance rivaling Windows. Gamers who once dual booted just to play their favorite titles found themselves staying entirely on Linux. The myth that Linux gaming was unstable or underperforming began to crumble. What's more, Proton didn't just change how we play, it changed the industry itself. Hardware manufacturers began optimizing for Linux drivers, game developers started testing Linux builds again, and the community. It exploded with support forums, bug reports, and performance benchmarks, all driving Proton's evolution forward. This was no longer a fringe experiment. It was a movement. Then came the Steam Deck, Valve's handheld gaming PC that uses Linux and relies entirely on Proton. Suddenly, millions of people were unknowingly becoming Linux gamers. Every time someone launched a Windows-only game on their deck, they were benefiting from years of open source innovation. Proton wasn't just a compatibility layer anymore. It had become the bridge uniting two worlds. Today, Proton continues to evolve. With each update, more games become compatible, more performance improvements roll out, and the dream of universal PC gaming gets closer. The open source community keeps refining the code, reporting bugs, and collaborating with Valve to make Linux gaming not just an alternative, but a preferred platform for many. This isn't just about software. It's about what happens when passionate people come together for a shared vision. The unsung heroes of Proton, from Wine developers to community testers, didn't just solve a technical problem. They challenged an entire industry mindset. They proved that gaming doesn't have to be locked behind a single operating system. It can be open, flexible, and free. So the next time you launch your favorite Steam game, remember, somewhere behind that flawless performance lies the dedication of countless contributors who made it possible. They might not get headlines or sponsorships, but their impact is monumental. They're the silent revolutionaries of modern PC gaming. Linux gaming is no longer a dream or a niche. It's here. It's growing. And thanks to Proton, it's more alive than ever. The future of PC gaming, it's open and it's already happening.